Let's kick off the podcast by having you share a little bit of advice for brands that are trying to navigate and manage the cross-border chaos that's happening right now. What kind of advice and how do you ground folks in today's day and age, especially with the turmoil over the last few months?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, with all of the going global chat, we've trained people on utilizing all of these benefits that they have or being able to do 1, 2, 3 and how people were utilizing de minimis coming inbound, but also utilizing outbound and tariff changes and whatnot. How does peak season look like, bro?
Sure. I think we're all figuring it out at the same time, whether it's carriers, other providers, retailers, or shippers. We're all in the same boat together. I think all of us are trying to do the right thing, but it is hard to figure out how things are going to change from one day to the next. I think right now, while you have customs authorities trying to navigate these and crack down a little bit, if you're a shipper or a retailer doing the right thing, meaning you're trying to find the country of origin for a shipment, which is now a new requirement on postal shipments, or you're trying to fill out a commercial invoice as best as you can. You're trying to do the right things. While I can't officially say that effort is going to be rewarded, what I will say is that since we're all navigating that together, the retailers who are taking it seriously and really are trying to make that good faith effort are the ones that are going to succeed. They're trying to adapt to new normals, new narratives, and trying to get a hold of it first rather than just giving up their hands or throwing up their hands. And there will also be a lot of opportunity for people who are willing to adapt and get used to these things.
Yeah, I think with the changes taking effect, we think about that growth of globalization, people shopping. Do you see impacts coming in from like the engagement towards American brands? Is there an impact being felt by brands right now on the overall volumes, etc.?
Sure. I think that there's a hesitation for sure. So I think when we talk about where that hesitation's arising, global trade had moved toward a lower and lower threshold of item sale or GMV of an item being sold in e-commerce, and that threshold of somebody saying, sure, internationally, I'm willing to buy it from a retailer on both sides of the pond. I think with the de minimis change, what we're seeing is that threshold has shot up. If you're looking at a high ticket, high priced item, you might be willing to pay that de minimis or extra tariffs because you're not as price sensitive. I'm talking about something that maybe $300, $400, $500. If you have a demand, you're wanting it now. I think where we're really seeing a change is in things that are under $100 in value or under $200 in value, not just from the standpoint of the tariffs causing an increased price, but the lack of visibility that sometimes either retailers or even carriers have on where is my package. Now there's that hesitation of, is it just due to the fact that it's international and it's coming in, or the fact that a customs authority may be seizing it, and do I have the visibility into that? More importantly, what do I do about it if there's a problem? That's very much a question for retailers, carriers, and the end consumer.
Yeah, I think one of the things that is tricky about the timing of this, Krish, is we are just around the corner to peak season. Yep. This is make or break for a lot of brands, and it's very meaningful to everybody. Would love any perspective or advice you might want to give, especially when it comes to cross-border, because a lot of logistics experts have had to rewrite their playbooks this year. We just kind of have to go with the flow. What would be your advice or perspective on prepping for peak season in the best way we possibly can?
For sure. I think a couple things. If I'm a retailer, I probably want to look at my item catalog and make a hard decision. Maybe it's based on demand, maybe it's based on item price, as to what I'm going to surface to the international consumer. Because number one, if I surface an item with too low of a price, but then has too many tariffs, not only may you scare off demand, but you may end up with a perception about your products that they're just too expensive. So I think that's one thing. I think the second point is what are my returns policies going to be? Because for years, people wanting to skirt duty and tax issues would do one of two things. They would either say, okay, this is a gift shipment, because typically gift shipments are not subject to duties and taxes, or they would say it's a return. Well, in this case, we're talking about a retailer who legitimately may have a consumer with a return. So the question becomes, what are my return costs? What are my processing costs? How badly do I need that item back in my inventory for resale? And what's going to be my brand experience if I have a keep it philosophy? We all know retailers who do sugar returns say, all right, keep it. It's too much for us to process. We see some big box retailers who do that, but typically it's because the item price is lower. Now we have to talk about what that's going to mean if an item has a higher price because it's an international order. We also know that naturally there are Reddit forums of people who want to game the system on it. The idea is that's a really hard decision to make, not just from the standpoint of the cost, but even a brand side of it. And what I mean by that is there are sometimes retailers who, even with the high cost, will say, no, I want it back, either because they want it the inventory, or they want to cut down on fraud, or because from the standpoint of my brand's at a premium, if someone keeps it, then does that cheapen my product or the perception about it?